The iPhone 15 Pro is the best small phone you can get in 2025. Subscribe to the channel, drop a like down below, let's get started. Yes, I think that the iPhone 15 Pro is the best value small phone in 2025, for a very simple reason. This is the smallest iPhone you can get, and one of the smallest phones, flagship phones, you can get. This is very, very small. This has a 6.1-inch display. But contrary to the iPhone 16 Pro, which has a 6.3-inch display, this is also smaller in terms of the body size. Because the iPhone 16 lineup grew. It grew in display size, but it also grew in body size. I have the iPhone 16 Pro Max, and the iPhone 16 Pro Max is slightly bigger than the iPhone 15 Pro Max. I never used the iPhone 15 Pro as my main device. I bought the iPhone 15 Pro Max. But now that I have access to one, I gotta say, it's super comfortable in the hand, super lightweight, and with titanium frame makes it a lot more portable than your iPhone 14 Pro, which also was very, very small, the size of the iPhone 15 Pro, but with stainless steel was much, much heavier and more difficult to carry around. So, titanium frame and the overall body size makes this phone the perfect small phone to have in 2025. It's smaller than my hand, which doesn't say much because my hand is quite big, but still smaller than my hand, which if you compare that to the iPhone 16 Pro Max, a huge phone like this, it's bigger than my hand. So, as you see, it's much more comfortable to hold with one hand and to use it with one hand. This makes the iPhone 15 Pro the perfect small phone. On the back, you have a triple camera system with a 40 megapixel main sensor, a 3x telephoto, and a 12 megapixel ultra-wide camera. And that's something that was a bummer. When Apple released the iPhone 15 Pro lineup, they separated the big iPhone from the small iPhone via the telephoto lens. Yes, the biggest iPhone 15 Pro had, obviously, the 5x telephoto, a lens that I love and takes beautiful, beautiful portrait photos. I have that on my iPhone 16 Pro Max, and I'll use it as a demo version of the phone. These two devices, they share different sizes and they have different abilities. The iPhone 15 Pro Max in 2024 came out with a 5x telephoto, while the iPhone 15 Pro came out with 3x. The 3x lens is a 70mm equivalent lens, which takes simply different photos. They're not worse, they're not better, different. And if you compare them both, you will notice the difference. The portrait mode here and the portrait mode on the iPhone 15 Pro Max, even the iPhone 16 Pro Max, they are different. So, what is your choice if you much prefer a smaller iPhone but with a 5x telephoto? In that case, I will push you to the iPhone 16 Pro. The iPhone 16 Pro fixed that issue. It's a tiny bit bigger than the iPhone 15 Pro, but it has the 5x telephoto, so it shares the same camera system as the iPhone 16 Pro Max. And I gotta say, this is an awesome, awesome camera system. I went on a trip recently and I take insane photos with it. One thing that I gotta say, and I will leave a note here and in my next iPhone 16 Pro Max review, is the camera button. This sucks. And I recently went traveling and I found out why. Whenever you want to take a photo with one hand only, like this, you are always clicking with your finger on the camera button. And you are activating the camera. And you are moving around. You are zooming in, zooming back, and you are changing the settings. It's so annoying and you can't do anything. So you need to take photos. Imagine taking photos like this. Your finger touching the camera button. This sucks. It's not ergonomic. And I talked to my girlfriend several times saying, this is a terrible, terrible design option. I will talk about it in my reviews because it marked me so much. So, yes, if I would choose, I would say no camera button. That's why I love the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and I do think that's the best value iPhone you can get in 2025. But as a small iPhone, the iPhone 15 Pro does not get behind. This has an awesome camera system. Still, the same main sensor as my iPhone 16 Pro Max. The ultra-wide lens is a bit different. Mine has a 40 megapixel main sensor, while this one has a 12 megapixel main sensor. But still, it's not bad. The ultra-wide sensor takes beautiful photos at night, during the day. So it's about 95% as good as the iPhone 16 Pro main 40 megapixel ultra-wide sensor. As for the telephoto, well, it's a different choice. Sometimes I like to have a 3x telephoto. In some shots, it looks awesome and it's the best focal range to use. Sometimes, and most of the time, the 5x is the best one because it takes beautiful, beautiful portrait photography of people, animals, and landscape. And I've taken several of them in my trip. So I would say that it depends. If you want the 5x telephoto, spend the extra $200 and go for the iPhone 16 Pro. Totally worth it. You get the newest iPhone, you get the smallest iPhone available with a 6.3-inch insane display. And I love the iPhone 16 Pro. It's a bit bigger, but it's also incredible. The display has a bit smaller bezels, and it's still the same 2000 nits peak brightness OLED display with 120 Hz. The battery life is a tiny bit better than the iPhone 15 Pro, so there are some upgrades from the iPhone 16 Pro to the 15 Pro. But I would say that if you want the best value and don't want to waste any dollar, then buying the iPhone 15 Pro is an awesome option with a great camera system. And talking about displays, obviously this is a 2000 nit peak brightness OLED display, but its main advantage is being small. This is a 6.1-inch display. And the thing that I like about the most is the fact that you can use it with one hand. So you can grab your phone with one hand and type all over the device with just one finger. It's insane how cool this is, because we are getting used to having huge phones. And I notice every day whenever I use my iPhone 16 Pro Max that it's too big. I want to use it with only one hand, like this. And I can't reach all the phone. And I start to have to do some games like push the phone upwards, downwards, and it's not comfortable to type on. So I need to use both hands, and this makes the experience more limiting. While if I use the iPhone 15 Pro, 16 Pro, I'm not limited to the size of the display in terms of the size of my hands. So I would say that in the future, I think I will grab the smaller iPhone, at least to test it out. Of course, having the bigger display, the 6.9-inch insane huge display from the iPhone 16 Pro Max is great. To watch movies, to watch YouTube videos, it's incredible. But when do you do that? When it's the case that you decide to watch a movie on your phone. Well, if you have time, if you have space to do so, then why not grab an iPad, which has a 13-inch display, and it's also great, it's also promotion, 120 Hz. Why not use an iPad? I have an iPad. So that's something that I ask myself, and I arrive at a solution. I watch big videos, big movies, YouTube videos on my iPad display. And whenever I use an iPhone, a phone, nonetheless, I will use the smaller 17 Pro upcoming iPhone. So yes, I think that the iPhone 15 Pro is a great value in 2025. You get USB-C, you get the titanium frames, you get the triple camera system that is awesome. You get good battery life, you get the LiDAR system, you get an amazing 2000 nit ProMotion display, you get always on display, you get the action button, which is something that I actually haven't talked about in this video, but is also great. The action button is very useful for you to use shortcuts on your iPhone with just one tap. I normally use my ChatGPT button. You can also have a shortcut button to open up your garage door, to open up your home door, to turn on the lights, to turn on your bedroom lights, to turn on your setup. Everything that you want to use, you can use via the action button. Simply create a chain of events on Shortcuts app on iOS, and then connect it to your action button, boom, you're done. You can also use it as a camera control for your camera. And it's in a much better position, it's a tactile feeling button, so it's simply better. By being here, you are not clicking on it whenever you are taking photos with one hand. Right here. Do you see with my little finger is touching the camera button on the iPhone 16 Pro. But with the 15 Pro, if I want to click it, it's just like a camera shutter button right here. Perfect. The camera control, it's a gimmick, and in the last few weeks, I would say, it has become some trouble. So I would say, prefer the iPhone 15 Pro not having the camera button than having it. In terms of durability and obviously the use cases during the last year and a half since it came out, this iPhone was firstly used and the battery was firstly used and charged in October of 2023. And if I go to settings, battery health is still at 89%, which is quite good. It has 510 cycles with 89% of battery health. So it's still great. It still lasts you around, I would say, maybe an average of 3 hours, 4 hours and a half, which is not bad, between 3 and 4 hours of screen on time. For a small iPhone like this, that's great. And having small iPhones, having smaller displays, smaller batteries with these smaller phones simply compels you to use your phone less. So if you want something that is not as addictive, not as provoking as your most insane iPhone 16 Pro Max, then buying a smaller iPhone with a smaller display, with smaller batteries, might push you to use your phone less. Something that is very important nowadays. But I don't know, I think that's still an average to good battery life, and with only 10% degradation in 1 year and a half, I would say the durability on this phone is awesome. As for the durability in general in the titanium frames and the display, this phone is a bit beaten up. I have some scratches and some dents on the titanium frame. Again, the person that uses this phone is not that careful with it, and as for the display, it does have a screen protector on it, so no issues here. It has some damage, but your normal use cases. Below that, I hope the phone is okay and is not broken. As for USB-C, I think for most people, it won't be a game changer at first, but the person in question, my girlfriend, does have a computer that has USB-C, does have an iPhone that has USB-C. So it can charge the same thing with the same cable. Oh, it does have an iPad also with USB-C. So all of the things charge via the same cable. So with that, it's very, very convenient. Again, USB-C is not just for the transfer speeds, the charging speeds, but also for convenience. USB-C, triple camera system, 2000 nits, peak brightness, 120 Hz, OLED display with always-on technology, dynamic island, and of course, all of these for like $600, $650 currently on the used market. It's a great option for the iPhone 15 Pro. So if you want a small iPhone and you are not the person that wants the newest and shiniest iPhone, grabbing an iPhone 15 Pro might be your best bet. Thank you guys for watching. Drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. This has been a review of the iPhone 15 Pro in 2025. Bye-bye.